Sam walks 1 kilometer from his house to the bus stop. Sela walks 2 kilometers from her house to the bus stop. Both Sam and Sela board the bus to take them to the museum. The bus takes 1 hour to reach the museum. Let's find the total distance traveled by Sam and Sela to reach the museum. The total distance traveled by Sam or Sela is the sum of the distance from their house to the bus stop and the distance traveled by the bus. We know that Sam walked 1 kilometer from his house to the bus stop, while Sela walked 2 kilometers to the bus stop. The distance traveled by Sam in the bus is the product of time and speed. We know the time taken by bus to reach the museum, but we don't know the speed of the bus. So, let's consider the speed of the bus to be x kilometers per hour. Therefore, the distance traveled by the bus is the product of 1 and x. The total distance traveled by Sam to reach the museum is the sum of 1 and x. Similarly, the total distance traveled by Sela to reach the museum is the sum of 2 and x. The ratio of the distance traveled by Sam and Sela is 41 by 42. Notice that this equation is not in linear form. We first convert this equation into linear form and then find the value of x, which in turn will help us in finding the total distance covered by Sam and Sela to reach the museum. Let's convert this equation into linear form by using cross multiplication. Next, apply the distributive property to the expression on the left-hand side by multiplying each term inside the brackets by 42. Similarly, on the right-hand side, multiply each term inside the brackets by 41. Transpose the term with the variable to one side and the constant to the other side. Now, find the difference between the like terms. Thus, we get the value of x. Verify this solution by directly substituting x as 40 in the problem. Look, the result is the same. So the speed of the bus is 40 kilometers per hour. Substitute the value of x in the expressions for Sam and Sela to find the distance traveled by each of them. You can also solve reducible to linear equations by applying the general solution or formula method. Let's see what this method is about. We'll represent the linear equation in this form. Here, a, b, c, d, and e are constants, and x is the variable. We assume that a and c together do not equal 0, and a is not equal to ce. We also assume that e does not equal 0. Let's solve this equation using cross multiplication. We then distribute e to both terms on the right-hand side. Transpose the like terms. Here, x is the common term on the left-hand side. Let's divide both sides by a minus ce. This is a general solution that can be applied to any reducible to linear equation that is convertible to linear form. Now, let's take an example. Apply the general formula to this problem. You can verify the result by solving this equation using the traditional method of cross multiplication. On comparison, we find that the results from both methods are the same.